Okay, well look, here we are once again, Pattaya Expat Club, Hotel Barracuda. It's Tuesday morning, and as always, it's Ron Carty here. And as always, again, my privilege to interview the speaker. Today I've got Tommy D. Hello, Tommy.
Good morning. How are you? Good.
Fantastic talk. Thank you very much. Would you like to say hello to everybody?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's the Fabulous 103.
That's it. You were talking about your radio journey, is that right?
Yeah.
Right, but and forgive me talking about it, but you actually started off, and thank you for coming here, because you recently had a stroke, is that right?
Yes.
Yes. So,
it's the reward for quitting work. Tommy, you're not going to retire, you're going to have a bloody stroke. Whatever happens, you're not going to enjoy it. But yeah, three and a half months ago I had a stroke, done the leg, done the arm, but they're coming back.
Oh mate, and so thank you very much for joining us, okay? But you started off with your initial intentions of when you first came to Thailand or Pattaya, is that right?
Yeah. I sold a business in the UK, so I had some money, and I thought I'll just buy 2 houses and retire.
Right.
And get rent off one, and
that's it.
But then I looked at a lot of people during the day, the 10 o'clock in the morning in the beer bar, customers.
Yeah, that's it, mate.
I'm very scared of becoming that, and I'm a workaholic. I've always been a worker.
Yeah.
So because I'm a worker, I looked for something to do. I didn't fancy having a bar.
No.
I didn't fancy having a restaurant.
A nightmare.
Yeah, and driving around, I thought the radio wasn't particularly good. And I thought, you know what, even an idiot like me can do better than this.
But also, you've got a history of radios, or being involved with radios. You ran through that a little bit, going right back to your childhood, is that right?
Well, in as much as my father was into electronics in a big way.
Right.
And in 1953, he built a radio, which I have a photograph of. I'll give it to you so you can put it on your video.
Yeah, please.
He built this radio. He was newly married, and he built it himself. And he said to my mum, right, we're going to plug it in now, it's all done. And they plugged it in and fused the whole block of flats.
I knew you were going to say that.
He did.
Yeah.
But he fixed it.
Yeah.
And we grew up with that radio, and I still have it here. I brought it to Thailand. So the old man taught me electronics, magnets, bulbs, batteries later on, how to do soldering, troubleshooting with electric. So
that's in there.
Friends of mine, lots of people who I know, and I used to play music, not professional.
Yeah.
Far from professional, but always keen to do it. So, yeah, it looked like something to do, was to start a radio station.
And you've been doing it for over 17 or 18 years, is that right?
That's
How
right.
about that, okay?
Yeah.
And then you spoke briefly about your experience with Radio 105. We won't go into that, okay?
But you can if you want, it's not a secret.
No, I know that, okay?
Send us the money that you owe me.
Stop it. Okay, let's move into something more
positive.
Don't cut that
out,
okay.
Seriously.
Right, no, it won't be cut out, okay? And then you came across Anna and Pattaya 103.
Yes.
Which sort of put you back on your feet, or put you on the right path.
Anna and her mother started Pattaya Bay Radio, which was then based down at Royal Cliff, and then moved to the Sukhumvit. And I leased the frequency in the office from her.
Good, and then you came up with things, and you actually asked yourself, what do you actually need to run a successful radio program?
Content, quality and clarity.
Yes.
And the real secret is unique content.
Agree.
Not copying other people, not trying to pretend to be somebody, not doing the same every day. Leave it so that people never know what's going to come.
Well, you're right. I mean, you don't know my background, but I learned to speak many years ago, and the first challenge is you try and copy some other bugger instead of being yourself.
Everybody does.
That's it.
My friend of mine, Sue Marchant, who was at BBC Cambridge, name dropping, she told me when I started, she said, for the first 4 to 6 months, you will pretend to be everybody that you like.
That's it.
And then you'll discover yourself, and either it'll work or it won't work, but it'll be you.
It's true, but I used to copy, I had an Australian I looked up to, and he had a little when he spoke, and I found myself going, copying him without realising, but then you become comfortable in yourself, okay, good. And then you mentioned about going off air. You went off air for a year, is that right?
When the army took over, they turned all the radio stations off.
Yeah.
Because they were worried about the propaganda and people causing insurrections. Yeah. So every single media company, TV and radio, unless it was government owned, was turned off, and that's when we had to qualify to get a license again.
Yeah, okay, and then so then that was you back in a solid footing, and then you built your own digital studio, is that right?
Kind of.
Or you mentioned the benefits or the plus sign of a digital.
Yeah, no, that's a
rather
different
than
thing. Yes.
analog. Okay.
Well, we took on. I bought out Russell, who had. Excuse me. I'll do that for a cut. I bought out Russell, who owned 88.5,
Right.
who was ready to go back to England because he'd had enough, and I don't blame him.
Right.
And with that, I took over the lease on the building he had, and I also inherited his studio, the room where you do the show
Yes,
from.
yeah.
And we modernised that. So, what was your question about the digital?
Yes.
Within the studio, modern studios today are digital; they're not analog.
Right.
It's a million times better quality, and with an analog studio, you're constantly taking stuff from digital,
Yeah.
like your CD,
Yes.
turning it into analog, then turning it back to digital,
Right.
then turning it back to analog, and the sound quality
Of
deteriorates.
course.
With a digital studio, without boring you, the quality never deteriorates.
Interesting,
The volume never drops.
Interesting.
Whether you're listening to that sound on one unit within the studio
Yes.
or 100,000, the quality
Interesting.
and the volume will never
Yeah.
drop. It's the way modern radio stations are built.
Good. And you went and got help. Is that
Oh
right?
God, loads. Yeah, I didn't understand it.
Where did you go for
Serious
the help?
piece of
You
gear.
mentioned that.
I have a lot of friends in the UK that are in radio.
Right.
There are a lot of people here, people that I've met through other people, other
Right.
people, and the manuals, and the company that makes the equipment. Now here's the thing, even though it was already paid for, their customer service, which is of no cost, the company is Axia Telos.
Oh, nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Axia Telos, they're based in America. I think the radio studio equipment cost over $1 million baht, and
Whoa.
that was a long time ago. But Axia Telos, their customer service is still available to us today. If you pick up the
Wonderful.
phone anytime, say, look, I'm off air, I've got this problem, the guy will sign in and go, look what you've done, and he'll go, fix it, and it's done.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so otherwise I'd have been lost.
Yeah. Okay. And then of course, we all came across COVID, affected every
Yes.
one of us, but you survived that.
Somehow, yeah.
No, I know. Actually, it's surprising how everybody was so happy that COVID finished, but it didn't.
No.
It went on after.
Because nobody believed it was
Agree.
going to be finished. We all
Yes.
thought it was going to come back.
Yeah.
And businesses, this hotel, any business you know, had to recover.
Agree, and
They
it
had
took
no
a lot
money.
longer than the people expected. You
And they had
know?
no money to advertise,
No,
and that's
agreed.
where our money comes from.
Yeah, of course. Okay, but anyway, so all's good. But then on the lighter note, you mentioned the midget.
Ah, yes, the midget. Megan
Tell
the
us
midget.
about the midget.
There's not much to say really. She's too short to talk a lot about. So Megan's been with 103 now for far too long,
Yeah.
probably 8 years. And during that time, I mean, there's a person who's really put her heart and soul into the radio. And she never thinks she can do something. She'll
Yeah.
sit there, say, Megan, I think you should do that. You should present that. I can't do that. Yes, you can. You
Yeah.
just don't think you can.
Yeah.
So I'd push her.
Good.
And then she'd do it, and after like 2 goes, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a lot of her, I think, in the future,
Interesting.
in media. Pattaya, maybe Bangkok, I don't know.
Interesting.
But she has a future, and
Very good.
she's not young,
Yeah.
middle-aged,
Yeah.
35, going on 60, but
Yeah.
she's got a future in the radio
Well done.
and in TV, and yeah, she's done a really good job.
Well done.
I've enjoyed working with her.
No, good. You've
Yeah.
done a good job there.
But don't tell her I said that.
No, I won't.
Whatever you do.
I'll edit this bit.
Yeah, cut
Okay.
that
All right.
bit out,
Okay.
yeah.
Good. And then look, yeah, we're running out of time, but
Good.
very good talk. A lot of questions at the end, but you finished on a bit of advice for everybody. That's either being in radio or talking. A bit of advice from Terry Wogan.
It's
And I found that very
it is
interesting.
my screensaver on all the computers that I use,
Good.
and it applies just as much to somebody who's going to do a radio or TV
Yeah.
presentation, or if you're a YouTuber or
Yep.
a blogger, or if you're giving a presentation like we did
Yes.
today.
Yeah.
There used to be somebody in this town, we won't name him, who used to go on air and say, hello to all my fans around the world.
That's it.
Vomit. Seriously, guy.
Yeah.
Terry Wogan said, You're not broadcasting to the world. You're not broadcasting to the nation. You're not broadcasting to a crowd or an audience. You're broadcasting to one person. Remember that. I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to him.
It's true.
Everybody in this room. I'm talking to you when I say Terry Wogan said, you're broadcasting to one person.
That's it.
And that person is only half listening.
True.
That's the best advice I got. It's the advice I passed on to Megan. And anybody who's going to do a presentation.
Of any kind, I agree.
And you can say that I gave you the information, but it's not my idea. That came from a professional.
Excellent. Brilliant. Mate, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me today.
Well, our pleasure. Okay, there is your certificate.
Signed by Niels Koloff.
Well,
I should be saving
sorry
this.
about that.
No. I'm going to use this on checks.
Yeah, because you are.
Yeah, I'm going to use this on checks.
You've
This is
got
great. Copy it, scan it.
Very good. Excellent. Okay, listen. Right, look, a good example of the type of speakers that we get here. Come along every Tuesday. Hotel Barracuda, Pattaya Expat Club. See you next Tuesday. Good food, good camaraderie, good speakers,
And nice people.
good time.
Very pleasant people.
Good.
Thank you
Mate,
very much.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Bye.